chose not to have the surgery. He chose to rest and relax and hope it goes away. And then he ended.
We took a look at Gilmore, and if we got Gilmore, we win in the division. I feel like, you know what I mean? I feel like Stephon Gilmore.
Richard Rodgers. He was with our team over the last couple of years. But this is about our fourth time picking him up. What does that mean for...
Welcome to another episode of BIRDGANG Nation Sports Talk. I am your host, BIRDGANG 31. Today, I brought my boy Hunter Doyle back on the show so we can talk some birds, baby. How you doing, Hunter?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing, my man?
I'm doing good, man. Good. You know, another
Can't hear
day. Me? Yeah, I can hear you now. I didn't hear you at first. But you got it. So another day in, you know, the Birds made a big trade today.
You got me now?
We got a new quarterback in the building, Mr. Gardner Minshew, man. How you feeling about Mr. Gardner Minshew?
I like the trade. You guys can hear me now? I'm all good?
Yeah, now we're good. Good.
Okay, gotcha. I think we're a little bit laggy, but hey, I'm feeling good about the trade. Look, I mean, Nick Mullins was not going to cut it for the Eagles, and I don't think he was going to make the team. I was not under that impression from the time he got signed. I think the problem was that he was brought in here to elevate the third and fourth strings, and he did not do that. And he was supposed to eat against third and fourth string defenses. Now, I know the offensive line wasn't the best for him, but there were still a lot of plays that he could have made that he did a really poor job making. I know he had some shoulder issues too, so that's an issue as well. But look, I mean, the Eagles, I mean, I think they were going to keep two quarterbacks before this move. And with COVID right now, you can have breakthrough cases, and that'll sideline someone for a little bit. You never know how long they're going to be sidelined. You're also going to have, you know, a 17-game season now. Maybe there's more injuries at times too. And Minshew, look, I mean, I know he has pretty good numbers. I think his stats are a little bit inflated just because, you know, he takes a lot of his first read a lot of the time. He doesn't like to move to a second read from what I understand. He likes to go to the check down a lot of the time too. So even though he's Gardner Minshew and he has a lot of meme highlights and a lot of flashy downfield highlights, sometimes he also has plays where, you know, he's not willing to push the ball down the field and he plays a little bit cautious. So I think that he just needs to work a little bit in that regard. But point being, I mean, this is a guy who has generally taken care of the ball despite a high turnover-worthy play rate. And he's very good at, you know, stepping in and getting the job done if needed. Last year, I'm not going to judge him too hard off it because while he ran himself into some sacks, the offensive line was terrible. The entire team was terrible in Jacksonville. I can't put that all on him. I also think that, you know, you look at his rookie year, he came in from a very different offense in college, an air raid offense with Mike Leach. He comes in, transitions to a pro style offense, and I thought he performed fairly well. And he won 6 games for them. Look, 6th round for him, a comp pick. That's tremendous value in my opinion. I think that, you know, look at how he literally got a 7th round pick in return for John Dornbos, right? Like he's a guy, he's going to find a way to get that 6th round pick back, especially on draft day. We always see him making small moves, either trading back, trading up later on day 3. So I love the move. I think every angle you look at it, it makes a ton of sense. So Bird Gang, what did you think of the move, my man?
Man, I love it, man. I am excited to see. I am so happy we got him. Nick Mullins, you know, and I was a guy hoping that, you know, the good side of Nick Mullins that we seen in San Francisco was going to come to our team, you know, and do some big things. But these guys were horrible, man. Like, Nick Mullins was garbage every time he got the ball. At first, I was making an excuse for him, saying that maybe it was because he was the 3rd or 4th team. But a lot of those mistakes he made, doesn't matter what team you're on, you know what I'm saying? You need to be playing a lot better than what he was playing. And Flacco, like, I was never that big on Flacco in the beginning. You know, like, I've seen Flacco last year at the Jets, man. He sucked. You know, like when he was playing for the Jets, he was garbage. You know, so I was like, I'm not really worried about the backup quarterback situation because I think this is going to be the first year in a long time that our quarterback stays healthy the full season like normal quarterbacks do. And it's Hurts
Hopefully.
season, baby. And hopefully Hurts will ever have to leave that field at the quarterback position. But Gardner Minshew, like you said, he had some ups, he had some downs, but I like the guy. He's young still. He's feisty. He's a gunslinger. He makes some questionable decisions sometimes, but he also knows how to throw touchdowns. And if we did need him for a game or two, I think he'll do the job very well.
Yeah, and I mean, another thing to mention just with Minshew is he also still has one extra year of control on his contract. So Joe Flacco's obviously only on a 1-year deal. So next year when Joe Flacco is gone, then you have Minshew who can step into that backup role full time. I also want to ask you too. I know a lot of people have been asking this. Like, obviously they paid Joe Flacco $5 million. He's a veteran presence they want in the building. Do you think that Minshew coming here, he's immediately the backup, or do you think that they're going to keep Joe Flacco in that spot because of what they paid him and because of his veteran experience?
I thought the Flacco deal was an incentive base. I thought it was starting out base at $3 million, and it could go up to $5 million depending on if he played or not. And I don't know if I'm right or whichever way it is, but bottom line is Flacco sucks. Regardless, I hope that they give him a fair shot. It kind of sucks that he came at the end of training camp, but there's still 2 weeks to the season. So you can see, and that kind of skill level, I think you'll be able to see the difference once he gets out in the field with us this week. And once he gets to practice with the rest of the guys, you'll see that he is probably better than Flacco. And I hope that he is the backup quarterback. We can still get rid of Flacco and not lose too much money, in a situation of dead hit money. So, if Flacco wants to be here, good luck to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really care. Like I said before, either way, I am still crossing my fingers that Hurts stays healthy this full year because we do not need a backup quarterback this year. I want to be like the rest of the NFL teams where, they have their quarterback all 16, 17 games this year and not have to worry about a backup stepping one play on the field this year. But, with Hurts, the way he's been playing, man, he's been lights out. No one's seen him in the preseason, obviously, but in the preseason games. But, like, if you listen to the coach, they tell you that he has been balling out of control in these joint practices. Our whole team in general, the first and second string players have been balling out of control against these joint practices. And that makes me excited, because we don't need to see it. It's not our job to evaluate talent. It's our job to cheer for our team and, root the Eagles on and hope that they have the best possible season ever. And that's what I do. And I'm fully confident Nick Sirianni is going to do his job. And we're going to definitely shock some teams this year.
Yeah, and you mentioned Nick Sirianni as well. I think something to note, obviously, we've talked about it before, BIRDGANG. Like, he's worked with a lot of different quarterbacks throughout his time, including Matt Castle back in Kansas City, Philip Rivers in San Diego, and obviously 3 different quarterbacks in 3 years in Indianapolis as the offensive coordinator. So I think a little bit different style, obviously, with Minshew and Hurts, but I think he's still going to be able to adjust and maybe adjust a little less because Minshew, I wouldn't say is mobile, but he's not a statue like Joe Flacco. He can go and get you a few yards on the ground if you need him to. So I think that it's going to be a little bit less of a transition if something does happen to Hurts or, God forbid, Hurts gets COVID or something like that. If Minshew comes in, it's not going to be as big of an adjustment. And also, Sirianni is really good at just giving his quarterback easy reads and making a lot of underneath stuff, a lot of screen passes, gadget plays, stuff like that to just get the ball in the playmaker's hands quickly. And I think that with Minshew, if he is still struggling to get to that second and third read, Sirianni is going to be able to take the pressure off his shoulders a little bit and definitely work with him. So I'm really excited for Minshew if he does happen to get in the game at all. But I'm really looking forward to it. And during the season, that got the door. Hey, we'll see. I got some Philly decorations in here. I haven't put them up yet, but I got you, Richie. I'll be putting some stuff up soon.
Right? I remember those college days, man. Enjoy it, love it, and
I will
have a time of your life in college, man. That was some fun days back in the day.
Appreciate it. That's facts.
But back to what we're saying, do you think the Eagles, because you don't hear my take on it, but do you think the Eagles got enough work in this training camp, or which side of the fence are you on with that? Because some fans are like, hey, we didn't see no starters. I'm worried. What are the Eagles going to do? I don't think we're ready enough to start a season. But when you hear the coach talk for me, I hear the coach talking. I think these boys are ready to go, and I ain't even worried about it. So, how do you feel about that, Hunter?
Yeah, great question, man. I mean, I think that there is an element of in-game reps that is really valuable to a young team like this. Like, I do wish Jalen Hurts had played more than 2 series in the preseason. I understand the injury risk, I totally do, but I do think that, I do think he could have used just some in-game reps where, he's seeing some different defenses. I know it's a little bit vanilla in preseason, obviously, but Steelers mixed it up a little bit on him. So I don't think it's going to be a huge issue because we did see them in 11-on-11 and joint practices play pretty well. But I do think it's different when you're out there going full speed, full contact in an actual game setting. I think that can be valuable for a young team. But look, I always talk, I think the 17-game season comes in almost every conversation now. Just having that extra game, I think every game is valuable, but it also is going to give us a little more time at the beginning of the season. If that is a problem, we're going to have time to kind of get up to speed, I think. And look, like other teams, I think with COVID and everything right now, and, obviously Jacoby Stevens didn't play much this preseason, and a bunch of other guys got COVID too on other teams. There's going to be an element of that with every team almost. And you see Travis Etienne got hurt already. J.K. Dobbins just got hurt tonight. That didn't look good. So there's also an element of, in the third preseason game, you do want to protect your players. And the plan was to play Jalen Hurts. He was preparing to play that second game. He just didn't end up going out there because of the illness, and they wanted to be cautious about it. So I do think they could get off to a slow start. But look, Atlanta, I don't think is a world beater. I think that we are going to be, I think there's aspects that they do very well. There's aspects that we also do very well in the game. So I think it could be a good start to kind of get up to speed. And I'm not calling Atlanta a slouch. I just think that they're, in terms of where they're at, I mean, they have Arthur Smith, new head coach as well, and Dan Quinn is out of the building. They're in a similar situation as us right now. And we'll find out what skill level they're on once we play them week 1. But I do think that it kind of goes both ways. I do wish they got more reps, but I think the Eagles are going to be able to get up to speed. How about you? I know you kind of touched on your opinion a little bit, but I haven't heard too much of it.
Like I said, like when I heard Nick Sirianni said, when they asked him the question, he was like, man, we've already played 7 preseason games. Our starters are going full at it, ones-on-ones against these guys. Even when Fran Duffy was on Castro's show, he was saying he watched and he has seen that these guys are having drills where they're going to the ground, full contact,
right.
And so it's like mini preseason games in each practice, You got this whole big old field with all these players, ones versus ones, even in drills, even in, every single breakdown you can possibly think of, from 2-minute drill to goal line situation to, 1-on-1, 7-on-7s, 5-on-5, whatever it is the breakdown is. These guys are going ones-on-ones, and it's like they said, like it's different when you're going against our team ones-on-ones like we did at the beginning, where it's like, after the first week or two, these guys know each other's moves, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
so they already seen it, before. They already know what to expect. They're probably not trying to hurt each other. So, they're kind of taking it easy on each other type thing. But when you bring these joint practices in, that's a whole nother team, a whole nother people that get paid by a whole nother organization that they don't even care about. So they're going full team. They're trying to make the team. They're trying to make the roster. Players are trying to step up their game. So I know they went full steam ahead in that situation. So, the preseason, I think we need to start looking at changing the preseason to something like this, where it's like those 3 games are basically to evaluate your back end of your roster. You know what I'm saying? Have more joint practices. Have 3 or 4 of them things, throughout the summer, where it's like these teams can go organize, situational football, where they can go in and actually execute their offense and their defense, because you're not going to do any of that stuff in the preseason games, even if you had your starters in. And why, these people are getting hurt because they're running these vanilla offenses and these vanilla defenses. And anybody know, if you're not going full steam with your full go, these little vanilla things, that's setting people up to get hurt. You're just setting up your players up to fail and get hurt. And now, as you start to see now, some of these star players are actually getting hurt in these preseason games. So,
right.
I think it was a very smart decision by Nick Sirianni. And I fully agree, man. If you're going ones-on-ones 2 days in a row, what's that third day going to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, that third day, you don't need to do ones-on-ones anymore. You know what I'm saying? Let the backups and third teamers get in there and get some reps. We got to see a little bit of, like Gene says, Kenny Gainwell, man, he is looking like a monster out there. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? That drive Kenny did was amazing. Catching the ball, running the ball. I wouldn't go as far as to say I want him to start over Miles Sanders, but I definitely want him to get a lot of touches this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't put him over Miles Sanders quite yet. I mean, I love Kenny Gainwell. I was high on him. I was high on him a while back. I mean, before the draft and when we drafted him, my reactions on our channel, I was super hyped when we got him in the 5th round because I could not believe he was still on the board. Look, he's had a really good preseason, just the ability to make cuts and see the lanes that open up when they do. Like, I know a lot of young running backs struggle with vision and just patience and being able to take the open lane. And it's obviously easier for us looking at, the camera angles and everything than it is for them being actually on the field. But Kenny does such a good job. Like, his head's always on a swivel. He knows the lanes to find, but I'm definitely Miles is still the bell cow. Look, I think Miles, it's a shame he's still having the drops in the receiving game because he's got to be better in that area. And he was so good in that regard in his rookie year. But, I think Kenny offers kind of that Swiss Army knife ability where he can do all 3 phases of the running back position if you need him to. And I think all 4 running backs, man, I think all 4 of them are going to have a role in this offense. I mean, you saw Boston Scott with that little shimmy the last night, little hesitation, get the guy off him, and then get down to the end zone. Just the MetLife killer right there. Jordan Howard, I mean, I'm excited for him. He's a guy who obviously had a little bit of trouble in Miami that didn't use him the same and had a little bit of trouble after he left Philly. But I definitely think that he's going to be a nice second fiddle to Miles Sanders just as a power back. I think he's looked good in camp and in games so far. So I'm definitely excited to see the running back core as a whole play out. And Nikki asks, where do you think Gainwell would have been drafted if he didn't sit out? That's a great question. I think my opinion, I think he probably could have been a 2nd or 3rd round pick because I expect him to be a 3rd round guy with sitting out this year. So those Memphis running backs, they just keep churning them out, man. Tony Pollard, Darrell Henderson, Antonio Gibson, and now Kenny Gainwell. But I want to ask you, man, going off of the running backs and Kenny Gainwell, Miles Sanders, which ones do you expect to make the team? And kind of where are you at with like each running back right now? What's kind of your opinion on the whole committee?
Okay, first off, I'm gonna go ahead and answer Nikki's. Everybody was saying that a lot of people had him as a 1st round talent. Like a lot of people put him on the board, Gainwell, as the best back in this year's draft. Like I put him at 2 or 3. You know what I'm saying? Maybe behind ETN, then you got Gainwell. But, obviously Harris was the #1 back in the draft. And I think this year Harris is going to do some damage in the NFL this year. That guy's a beast. Sure. He reminds me of Derrick Henry, another Alabama running back. He might not be as strong as Derrick is right now, but that boy is going to come in and do some big things, especially inside Pittsburgh with no backup to actually push him for take away some of that playing time. But on your hand, man, I love all these backs. That was actually one of my next questions, to be honest, was, how do you feel about Holyfield, because I really like what Holyfield's doing, man. He looks like a pure back out there. You know what I'm saying? He's running hard. He's trying to fight for every yard. He's breaking tackles, catching the ball. So it's like, I don't know. It depends how many backs we keep this year. Obviously, Gainwell, Sanders. You're looking like Boston Scott's going to be there. I would like to see Howard's going to be there. They seem like right now he's working in his way into the rotation. And I would also like to see maybe even Holyfield make that last spot over Huntley, because I haven't seen enough of Huntley. I don't know about you, but I haven't really been seeing him run the ball. I haven't seen him too much in the preseason. And from what I did see of Holyfield the last 2 games specifically, like he is going out there trying to win a spot. And I think he's been on our practice squad for 2-3 years now. And I think it's about that time we go ahead and let him get some carries. Like, yes, he's not the dual threat running back, but you don't need your whole roster full of dual threats. You know what I'm saying? I think you got Boston Scott, you got Gainwell, you got Sanders, you got, that's 3 right there that are dual threat, mostly running backs, catching running backs, you know what I'm saying? And then you got Howard in there as one of your power back. You might as well balance it out with another power back. I was hoping Kerryon Johnson was going to be that guy, but he got injured again, and now he's not on the team anymore. So why not give it to Holyfield? Let him be the backup bruiser, you know what I'm saying, when we get in those short yardage situations. But, those are my 5. If Huntley comes in and does it instead, then, hey, that happens. But those will be my 5s. which 5 you looking at there?
Yeah, I mean, just talking on Huntley a little bit, it's a shame. I believe he had a ribs injury a couple weeks ago, which sucks because he did have, I believe in the first preseason game, he was leading in one of the games he led the team in carries and yards, I believe. I might be wrong on that, but I thought we saw, I'm a big Huntley guy. I think he flashed his ability to get in the open field and make moves. A couple of them got called back due to holding, but I think he's very similar to Nyheim Hines, and obviously Kenny Gainwell's been compared to Nyheim Hines a lot. If you look at Jason Huntley, I've talked about him before. Like his measurables compared to Nyheim Hines are near identical. It is something else, but Huntley I think has an edge just because of his kick returning ability. But I do believe that I don't think he's going to make the team. I think he'll probably be a practice squad guy. I think that. I miss Blount too.
Blount was my favorite. I was mad. We needed to keep him at least one more year, man. I love Blount, man. Like,
obviously,
that guy is a beast.
Yeah, facts. Obviously, the Super Bowl was monster for him, but also that touchdown he had against the Vikings to tie up the game when he just bulldozed Andrew Sendejo or I think it was Andrew Sendejo or Harrison Smith, but love
and
Blount.
Your guy right there. Show the shirt, my guy. Show the shirt. Yeah.
Jai,
man. Them two together did some damage that Super Bowl year,
yes,
man.
sir.
Even though Jay Ajayi was playing on 2 bum knees, I wish he didn't have. Imagine if Jay Ajayi never hurt his knees, man. Like, if he had healthy leg, that guy would have been a multi-Pro Bowler and freaking maybe even one of the best backs in the league. Like, his injury really, crippled his career there. And, man, that sucks for that guy. But, man, Blount, everywhere he went, he was balling, man. When he was at New England, balling, winning Super Bowls. Came over to Philly, balling, winning Super Bowls. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
like,
sir.
I miss that guy. Is he even still in the league right now?
I don't think so. I think he's officially retired as of recently. So last season was with the Lions, but that was I still watched him on the Lions because I just love the guy. But I mean, talking about Huntley, I agree. I don't think he's going to be one of the 4 or 5 that makes it. I think now that you have that extra quarterback who made it, you have to keep 3 quarterbacks, or you're going to keep 3 quarterbacks now with Minshew. I think we're going to keep 4 running backs because I think we're also going to keep 6 wideouts, which is a lot. Maybe they're able to change some stuff around at other positions. They did keep. What'd you say?
I was saying, so that's what.
Sorry, I didn't get that. What did you say?
I was saying, so that's what you think we're gonna go more receiver heavy. I thought it was maybe like 5 receivers, 5 backs. Keep it balanced because what we're gonna do if you're going 6 receivers, right? You said 6 and 4, 4 running backs, 6 receivers, and then how many tight ends do you got then? Because we got to keep Jackson. We got to keep Jackson. And for what I heard, they're using Stahl as a fullback. So I imagine that means that they're going to keep him too.
Dang. That'll be interesting if they use Stahl as a fullback. I didn't hear about that. But Jackson, I heard what they're going to do with Jackson because obviously he's hurt. He's hurt now. But I heard they're going to keep him for week 1 and then cut Richard Rodgers, but then they're gonna for some like benefit or something like that. I think Rodgers' contract isn't guaranteed if he's not on the roster week 1, so they're gonna keep Jackson and then put him on IR week 2, and then they're gonna bring Richard Rodgers back as they always do. Cut him, bring him back. Cut him, bring him back.
Right.
But I do think that they keep 4 running backs just because we have a lot of guys, and I think they like a lot of the receivers on the back end of the depth chart. I really do. But I could see them keeping 5 and 5. Look, they kept 5 running backs heading into 2017, back when Donald Humphrey, Corey Clement all made the team. So I wouldn't be surprised. But I do think that, I think my 4 are probably going to be Miles, Gainwell, Scott, and Howard. But Holyfield, like you said, Holyfield has impressed me because I always saw him as a guy who's like big bowling ball back, but he was really only able to turn the corner on college athletes. And I know he's not out there going up against the top tier talent, but I was impressed with what I saw from him in the preseason. He definitely exceeded my expectations, I would say. And again, like he's a big dude. Like you're probably not going to tackle him on first contact most of the time.
He's so
right.
Rich.
He's in shape too, like you said. So I was campaigning for him to get snaps last season because of how much it was a train wreck it was. I was like, you got to give him snaps at some point. Just let this guy get some experience, especially week 17. I was mad they didn't play him enough in week 17. Because, half the roster was out. But I think he's going to be on the practice squad. I do. I think he's earned a spot there. And I could see him getting elevated because the running backs, I mean, there's always injuries. Every team is going to have injuries at running back, I think. It's just how the position is in today's NFL, and it's unfortunate. You already saw, like you said, we already saw Kerryon go down. Etienne had a season-ending injury, and now J.K. Dobbins, like I said earlier. So I think yes, yeah, Cam Akers too. That's right. So I think you could definitely see Holyfield up here at some point. But I agree with Bobby. I think he's going to be on the practice squad.
Yeah, hey, if he's on a practice squad, if anything does happen, we can pull him up from there, you know.
Exactly.
He's been there for a while, so I was just hoping that this could be the year to get him up on the 53, man, and maybe give him some carries there, man. Now, Fogum, no Hightower. He said, "Yeah, that you said you had Hightower on your list."
So I have 6 wideouts right now. So obviously Devontae, Rager, Watkins, those are the top 3 guys. I think they're going to keep Ward just because of his consistency and reliability, especially on third down in the red zone. I mean, you always need a guy like that, a situational guy who you can put in. After that, it gets tough because you've got Hightower, Fulgham, and J-Jaw, who are like the top 3 candidates there, I believe, for the last couple spots.
And that was the next question.
Yeah, JJ or Travis.
JJ scored a touchdown in a game. He had 2 catches. One that was pretty nice, and that touchdown where he broke that tackle and went in for touchdown. Hey, it was on 4th teamers, but it looked pretty. But I don't think it was enough to keep him on the roster. I think he's still on his way out, maybe the practice squad. But how do you feel about the JJ? JJ or Travis? Who's making the team for you?
Yeah, I also agree. I want to say I think Hightower. I do think Hightower is going to make it. Just because Jason Avant said last year that he's the best route runner on the team. Obviously, this was before Devontae got here, but he thought he was the best route runner on the team. I think Doug really only used him in the deep game. I think he's a guy who can play at the short and intermediate levels as well. I know he didn't have a very flashy camp this year, but I still think Hightower is worth keeping and holding on to. I think there was a lot of fan talk. I never saw any official reports. Was there any official report about Hightower kind of losing his passion for the game, or was that kind of just skepticism? Was that an official report?
I did hear it back, but I don't know how official it was. You know what I'm saying? But I was always thinking, you got to think these young kids today, man, they're very emotional. You know what I'm saying? He got drafted ahead of Quez, and he seen what kind of year Quez went out and did. Quez went out and worked hard, and you obviously see that he has gotten better. Hell, he's a starter now. You know what I'm saying? No one expected Quez to be in our starting lineup beginning of this training camp and the beginning of this offseason. You know what I'm saying? I did. Because I seen the work he was putting in those videos and everything. I'm like, man, this guy looks like a beast out there. And I'm happy that Quez made it up there. But, for him to jump from Quez was like our 4th or 5th receiver last year, right? And then he moved all the way up to the starting lineup while you still got Hightower sitting back in the bubble area where you don't even know this guy's making the team. It's plus the injuries, you know what I'm saying? That could probably get to the guy's psyche, you know what I'm saying, to the point where maybe he's a little butthurt about the situation, and maybe he's really contemplate, how good he really is. If I got drafted before somebody else and that guy's starting over me, you know what I'm saying, it doesn't matter what round you're in, but just the principles of the situation. That guy's starting over me, I'll probably be a little mad too. But the only person you can really get mad about is get mad at yourself. You didn't go out there and bust the work, do the work that you need to do to come back this year. Because I was high on Hightower in terms of he got open. His speed was nice. He got open.
A lot of the time.
He just dropped the ball a lot, man. And as a receiver, that's the number one thing you can't do is drop the ball. That's your only thing you get paid to do is get open and catch. So I don't know why people make it seem like it's some news phenomenon for it to be rare for receivers to catch. Man, there's receivers catching the ball all over the league. You know what I'm saying? That barely ever drop balls. You know what I'm saying? So our team just got so used to have these guys drop the ball so much. I remember that one of those years, Carson had a decent year, but if you count all the drops, we led the league in drops that year. If all those guys would have caught the ball, our record would have been a lot better. Carson would have had better numbers, and people probably wouldn't have been doubting Carson so much. So catching the ball is a big thing that all these receivers need to be doing. Miles Sanders too. All these guys, you get paid for it. You're professionals now. You know how to catch a ball, kid. Just do what you got to do.
Yeah, speaking on that real quick too, I mean, the Ravens game always comes to mind for me from last year because opening drive, 3rd and long, after I think it was a couple of silly penalties. You have Hightower get wide open down the seam. Wentz throws it, and maybe it wasn't the most accurate throw, but it was still on him, and he drops the ball. And that's kind of a tone setter. I mean, then later in the game, Miles Sanders drops a touchdown right off his hands. I think maybe Goddard wasn't playing that game. He might have been hurt, but I know Miles dropped a touchdown right off his hands that game. There were quite a few drops in that game. And, again, like I said, tone setter. It can really hurt a team, the team as a whole, when that's really deflating to see a big play like that go to waste. When, Hightower's definitely got to get better at his ball tracking. I don't think, in terms of like the deep drops, I think a lot of people point to the mental game. I think a lot of it was just kind of like the focus drops, because it looked like he was struggling to track the ball a little bit. I'm not saying he doesn't have the mental stuff that he's got to get over, like just got to get over like a mental hump. But I do think that a lot of it is just like he's got to work on his ball tracking a little bit. I think, yeah, go for it.
Okay, what about Ward here? That was a good one. What about Ward's drop, man? That's another guy, man. He had some nice catches too last night. He did drop a few. How do you feel? I forgot. Did you put Ward or not?
Yeah, Ward's definitely in my group. He definitely has. He's also another guy. Not a great camp this year. Which Ward, I was just expecting him to kind of like, I expect him to fly under the radar, but in a good way. Like I thought he would be, just doing his usual thing, a depth piece, just a guy who you can put in whenever you need be. But yeah, like everyone's saying, like the drop, that can't happen. The drops, that can't happen. I mean, it's got to, especially Greg Ward. Like he's a guy, like I said, like consistency and reliability. We expect him to catch passes like that.
That one he dropped, he was wide open over there.
Yeah,
what I'm
absolutely.
saying? He's like, oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Like it's got to be caught. It's got to be caught. I still think he makes the team just because he's, kind of. I know he hasn't been around very, very long, but he's like a veteran. I feel like in that room, I do think he's going to make the team. I think Hightower is a good chance of making the team. In terms of JJ or Travis, this is a tough question now. I mean, I think Travis, I think you have the sample size from last year where I personally don't expect him to play like that all the time, but I do think it shows the potential he's got. Like, I do think he's a guy who can go out there and give you a productive day here and there especially if someone's injured and you need him to go out there and start, he can go out there and start for you. He's also a guy, he can play in the slot a little bit too. You can move him around. But I have heard that he's also another guy, like, needs to be pushed a little bit, needs to be motivated to really put in the work, which is a concern. But I think Travis definitely has red zone value at the least.
Mm-hmm.
J-Jaw, at the same time, I always tell people this, like, I did go back and watch a lot of his tape last year, especially earlier in the year when he was getting some snaps. And what I found was that in the red zone, specifically when he was in the slot or in tight, like near the offensive line in the formation, he thrived. Like, there were a lot of times that, with most of Carson's receivers, even though Carson had, or even though his receivers had their own issues, there were also times where Carson flat out just missed them, and then they were open. Or he didn't even look their way. And maybe it was designed that way sometimes with the reads and all that. But I did see a lot of really nice routes for J-Jaw in the red zone and in the slot. And Jason Avant has also said that he should be a slot receiver. So I reference Jason Avant a lot because I think he's a really good analyst on Inside the Birds. But I think that J-Jaw, especially if you have him in the slot in the red zone and he can work the middle of the field a little bit. I mean, we saw him torch Marcus Peters on that 2-point conversion in that Ravens game last year. Absolutely cooked him. I mean, he shook him right from the jump on that release. It was a beautiful release. But I do think that J-Jaw still has some value. And, even though everyone hates him, Howie Roseman drafted this guy in the second round. Like, he's a guy who he's probably not going to give up on this until it is, like, literally completely over with J-Jaw. So, yeah. I think that, you definitely see J-Jaw. I mean, the fact that I'm saying he should be like a red zone slot guy shows that he's, that doesn't make up for his second round pick. Like, that is not what a second round value type of guy. He's supposed to be boundary X receiver, go up and get the ball and attack it and make big plays down the field, right? He's not supposed to be, just a red zone slot type of guy. So I don't want to get people to get it twisted. Like, the guy definitely didn't live up to his value, and it's unfortunate. He probably shouldn't have been picked there, but I do think you still see the potential with Travis. I mean, I'm really torn, man. I think if I had to guess, I think they're going to keep J-Jaw on this roster. Personally, It's tough. I would probably keep Travis just because I think the J-Jaw experiment's just not working. If you want to put J-Jaw in the slot more often, maybe. I believe he was listed as the backup slot toward on the roster in the initial depth chart. Maybe that's not specifically exclusively where they're going to keep him, but I would probably keep Travis just because of his past track record. But I wouldn't be opposed to people who say J-Jaw probably makes the team after last night. I do think he does make the team. I would probably keep Travis though.
Yeah, because like I said, I would probably keep Travis too. Like you said, I'm done with the JJ Arcega-Whiteside saga. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't made he had enough opportunity over the last couple of years to make enough splash plays to keep him relevant, and he has not done that. He let these undrafted players like Ward and all these other guys come in there and make names for themselves while he was still on the roster. So you could say it was bad coaching, coaches not developing players, but why did all these undrafted players get developed and, he didn't get developed? You know what I'm saying? That's more of a personal thing to me. And on the other flip side, it's like Travis Fulgham. Everybody go see that 4-game stretch where he was the #1 receiver and think that, oh, wow, this guy's a superstar. Travis Fulgham's been in the league before he was on our team, you know what I'm saying? And he wasn't really that much of a superstar before he was there either. So it's like you got to kind of take it with a grain of salt too, where it's like, okay, yeah, he did have a 4-game splash, but if he was really that guy, you know what I'm saying, he would always be that guy. I always figure, you know what I'm saying? So either one, we didn't even hear Travis Fulgham name this whole preseason until the last game or two, where he started coming out, you start seeing some catches in practice, and then all of a sudden last game you see a couple of catches there. So it's at the same time they're both kind of sitting there was I don't know which one's gonna stay, but I figure if they both don't stay, they'll probably be on the practice squad for sure. You know what I'm saying? Because but I don't know. I think Travis's name alone is probably get him picked up if we did cut him.
Yeah.
And JJ ain't going nowhere, so we can cut JJ and bring him back to the practice squad. No problem. He gonna clear waivers.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I definitely think that Travis's name holds some value now for sure. I'm also interested. I think that Andre Patton, I think, was a guy who I heard his name come up a lot in, just from beat reporters and just his practices and a ton of that. So I'm interested to see if he can maybe get a practice squad spot. And obviously our receivers tend to go down by around week 9, week 10. So maybe we'll see him start at some point, but hopefully not, but I am also interested to see him. And talking about the young guns, I see your next question up here. So I'll just go right for it. I mean, just the young guns as a whole, right? Just everyone.
Yeah, the young guns, baby. If you guys have not seen the video, go check it out. The young guns: Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders, Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, and did I say all of them? Jalen Reagor.
Yeah.
Reagor. Those are my young guns, man. I am excited for them this year, man. I think that is one of the most talented, group of young players we've had in our offense in a long time, man. And I'm excited. I think all of them are going to ball out of the control this year. They're all in the right positions. You know what I'm saying? Goddard's got to prove that contract that he's worth being the one to pay, like one of the elites out there. Jalen Hurts going to show the world that he's a starting quarterback. Miles Sanders, yes, he got the drop season, but guess what? We also got Kenny Gainwell and Boston Scott's going to be catching a lot of those balls that he would have been catching that I don't think he's going to have to worry about catching this year. Devontae Smith, the cleanest route runner in the league right now. You know what I'm saying? He's making separation from everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't matter who's on him. He's going to get separation, and he's going to do his thing. Quez Watkins, the new Tyreek Hill, but a little bit taller. You know what I'm saying? The speed is elite. I can see him doing a lot of post routes or even screens, taking him to the house this year like he's already been doing. He's starting to make a thing. He's going to be Mr. Quez screen, because every time that boy catches the screen, he takes off and he makes big plays with it. And Reagor, last year we had Reagor in the starting position where he was going against teams' #1 cornerbacks. You know what I'm saying? I think having him in the slot where he's getting to go against the third best cornerback or even a safety or a linebacker, he is going to eat all day, with Quez Watkins and Devontae Smith opening up that middle for him, man. He's going to have an outstanding year now, and people are going to start forgetting about last year, and I think he's going to have a big season this year.
Yeah, talking about the young guns, I mean, I've been very impressed with Jalen Hurts this camp and this preseason. Even in the 2 series we saw him, I think His throwing motion looks better, a little more over the top, which is interesting, but he's looked very accurate and on time. And yeah, I mean, I think his rushing ability is going to be utilized by Nick Sirianni. I will say, like, after last year and just this whole offseason, I was just a little bit, I was still excited for Jalen Hurts because of the guy he is and the intangibles he brings to the table with his leadership and his work ethic. But I definitely still had some doubts about how good he could be. Now I'm just like, I wouldn't say I'm like over the moon about him, but I am much more confident now that I've seen it, now that I've heard it from the beat reporters, and, we have more to go off of, because I knew he was working. It was just a matter, some guys, it just takes some more time, but it really looks like he's ready to just attack in year 2. And I am really, really feeling good about Jalen Hurts right now. I think that he's going to show us that we made the right pick, and that it's going to pay off right now. Like, I really do think that he could end up saving Howie's job as much as, I don't like Howie. I think that it could come down to that. And I think he's really going to thrive this year. I am really full on the Jalen Hurts train right now. I'm super excited to see him play, and I feel a lot more confident. Look, I go to college. Obviously, I'm not in Philly, so I encounter a ton of NFL fans. Past couple days, I've just been getting crap on Jalen Hurts about how he's not a starting quarterback, how he's not going to win more than 6-7 games. Look, we have a manageable schedule this year. I know, my preseason prediction was that, around 8-9 wins, but I have no doubt that we can do better than that. And there's a lot of winnable games, and I think there's going to be a lot of close games, and it just depends on who closes them out. I'm not ruling out Jalen Hurts getting us a wild card spot or winning this division. Like, I feel that good about Jalen Hurts right now that I'm ready to jump on the Hurts train. And not that I wasn't before. Like I said, I said, like, I always believed in his work ethic and his leadership, but I just needed to see more of the talent. So I'm fired up about Jalen Hurts. But talking about the young guns as a whole, I mean, Miles, like you said, we do have other guys who can catch the ball out of the backfield. Like, he doesn't need to be the only guy doing that. And we've got other guys who can definitely pass protect if he's not doing as great in that. But yeah, I feel good about the running back room right now. I feel like Miles is gonna, with more carries, he's definitely gonna go even. He's gonna do even better, because you see what the running backs in Indianapolis did with that committee, and you saw how Jonathan Taylor, I think, is a rare breed. I really think he's going to be a star in the NFL, but I think a lot of people are kind of sleeping on Miles right now and saying he can't catch, he can't do this, he can't do that. Look, I still think he's going to provide great value as a runner. I really do. And you talk about Quez Watt. Go for it.
I was going to say, on the Miles Sanders thing too, people got to realize too, players get pumped up, when you get the ball. You know what I'm saying? I think people are going to see, like, he had all them 70 to 80-yard runs last year. If he starts doing that and starts continuing to get the ball, Miles is going to be a star this year. He's going to be a top 10, top 5 back easily, giving them the balls. They showed last year he had more yards, against top-ranked run stuff and defenses than Derrick Henry did last year, but he didn't get the ball enough. You know what I'm saying? And the confidence that you can build from running the ball, anytime a player's playing at a high level confidently, he can definitely catch the ball. I doubt you're going to see as many drops happen during those times, I think a lot of it last year was, he wasn't being used right. You've seen him on the sideline mad, that he's not getting the ball no more. And any kind of frustration, it's a mental game. Football's more mental than physical. It's like 90% mental, 10% physical, because you already had to give a long time. You've been doing it for a long time. It's how your mind frame is going into the game is going to be about. And I think a lot of those times, I really think our last coaching staff broke a lot of people mentally. You know what I'm saying? To the point where that's why they weren't playing so good. It's just because they were mentally broken by the coaching staff, how they ran things, how they did things. And like I said, I'm excited to see, especially like, you didn't hear a lot. And I think that's going to be a big weapon. It's like you didn't hear a lot about Jack Stahl being, a fullback. But I bet you in some of them practices he was lined up fullback, running through that line, blocking for people. You know what I'm saying? It's secrets, man. It's the secrets that we are keeping for the regular season that really excites me, man. Like, that's the thing I'm really pumped up about. Yeah. And imagine what Miles Sanders can do with a lead back when he didn't have a lead back before. He's always just having to find his own roles. Now you got one of the best offensive lines in football open up holes with you, and then you got a lead back to go hit that first, wave of defenders. Woo! I'm telling you, Miles Sanders can get 1,500 to 2,000 yards this year if he plays cards right. But go ahead and continue with young guns, guys.
You got me fired up now, man. You got me ready to go for the. I've been ready to go for the season now for a minute, man. But talking about, I mean, you talked a lot about Quez Watkins the whole live stream, man. Like, wow. I mean, just talking about it a little myself, I really just have to echo what you said. Just the way he's worked and the way he has, just elevated his play to where he's probably going to be the number 2 guy now. Like, I know earlier in this offseason, a lot of people were saying Reagor was going to exclusively be the slot. I was more on the side that, and I still am kind of on the side that he's going to play all 3 receiver spots, but more so the slot and the Z, where if he's playing the Z a little bit off the line, so he's not getting pressed all the time. But I mean, with Quez, I do think he's going to play a little more slot, because I think Quez is a guy who, I think Ben Fennell said it, his ability to go up and attack the football at the catch point and fight for contested catches and make plays downfield, I mean, was kind of overshadowed by his speed and how good he was on gadget plays and stuff like that in college. And Jason Vaughn also said that coming from Southern Miss, being just the top dog there, he wasn't exactly pushed as much because they just knew what they were going to get from him, and he gave them exactly what they needed to do. But obviously he's in the NFL now, and now after being in the league for a year, he understands what it's about. He understands what the stakes are and how hard he's got to work to achieve his goals. And he's a young guy. He's hungry. I am super excited to see him utilized a little bit more. Hopefully he stays healthy this year too. I mean, that receiving core, I think, is just going to be dirty, because I think I think Reagor's going to be better playing off the line more. I think Devontae is just a stud. He's a number 10 overall pick for a reason. I mean, people were talking about this dude being, becoming one of the best wide receivers in the league history after his collegiate season and all that. Obviously that remains to be seen, but regardless of what records he achieves and stuff, I mean, I just think he's going to be all over the place making plays for us. No matter what his stats end up being, he's going to make the plays that matter, and he's going to be there making crucial plays. And when he's not making plays, I think he's going to be a decoy. I mean, I think a lot of eyes are going to be going his way on offense, and I think you're going to be able to use that to open up more space for Reagor and open up more space for Watkins. And also with Watkins and Devontae and Reagor, they're all deep threat type of guys. You're going to be able to take some guys downfield and open up the underneath for the last young gun, Goddard, who's going to work the middle of the field, be down the seam. He's going to do a lot of damage. I'm super excited to see what Goddard does this year. And he's the guy. I mean, look, I know Ertz is here, but look, Goddard's TE1 now. I mean, this is his time to shine. This is his year. And I'm personally a big Goddard guy. Like, I think he's a stud. I think that if you look at last year, and you translate, I take out his week 3 game because he only played 7% of the snaps, and he had 1 catch for 7 yards. So I take out that game because he got hurt in that game. You take out that and you look at his numbers and you project them over a full 16-game season. I think he would have put up 70 catches and 800 yards. That's a great 3rd year for a tight end. And I think that he's completely capable. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of target share in this offense. But look, I think when he gets the ball, he's going to get yards after contact. He's going to get yards after catch. He's going to be able to do what we need him to do. He's one of the best run-blocking tight ends in the league as well. I'd say he's a top 2 run-blocking tight end. And he's easily a top 10 tight end in the league still. I mean, I think a lot of people are wondering if he's a little bit overhyped. I think he's going to be that dude this year. I really do. And I think you look at all this as a whole, all these guys we just talked about, I think it can run as a well-oiled machine. They're all young. They've all got so much talent. And I think that all of them being together will benefit the group as a whole, because you never know which option they're going to target. You never know which play is going to be designed for which guy. And I think we're going to be able to use all these guys to their full potential. I'm just super excited. All these guys have so much talent.
Yeah, man. Hey, shout out to the 10 in the chat. Much love. If you guys have not subscribed, please subscribe to me. Go hit up the Philly Insider podcast with Hunter Doyle. Sure. Go hit up those guys. Those guys are on a mission to 1K, just like BIRDGANG Nation's on a mission to 1K. Get us there, guys, Eagle fans. We work hard to make sure we give you great analysis and Eagle content, guys, So go out there and hit that like button, you know what I'm saying? We got a couple more questions here before I let you go, Hunter. But on that note with what you were just said, do you think, because I'm under the impression, right, that the way it's set up, each guy might not have we might not get a receiver on either side or tight end that gets 100 catches, but we will for sure have receivers hit 1,000 yards with a 17-game season, and a couple of them maybe even be close to up there too. Because I see our offense with these young guns out there, being able to do what they do. I think they're going to spread everything out so much that we will have a lot of big plays, like the greatest show on turf type offense. You know what I'm saying? The Marshall Falk, who was that? Marshall Falk. It was Holtz,
Isaac
Bruce,
Bruce.
and then what was the third? Pro was his name? The third receiver they had on that team. I think it was.
I forget. I'm a young guy.
Oh yeah, I forgot you're the young guy. But there was that third guy, and having that there, with the two tight ends, even Zach Ertz, that red zone, Zach's gonna eat. You know what I'm saying? I still am under the impression that they're probably gonna let Tyree Jackson start healing up. And by I think the trading deadline was week 7 or something like that. Around the week 7 mark, probably bring him off of the IR, and then go ahead and make a trade for Zach Ertz. But they're going to definitely get him some touchdowns in that red zone, because I see our offense switching up from the 20 on till you get to the red zone. It's going to be the young guns out there, the speed out there, running up and down the field. And if they don't score a touchdown and we happen to be in the red zone, that's when you're going to see guys like, Travis Fulgham, Ertz come in, the big set, the 12 personnel, the big running backs come in, the more of the Howard, type running backs come in there and pound it in. But how do you feel about that situation?
Yeah, I mean, talking about Ertz, I agree. Like, I definitely, the whole offseason, I just wanted it to happen because it was just kind of a distraction. And I also love Ertz, so I just wanted it. I wanted to get the pain over with I wanted to get it over with sooner rather than later. But look, he's still here. I love the guy, and he's going to be a great second fiddle to Dallas Goedert, I think. Like you said, working the red zone is going to be, I really think that last year we had a lot of trouble in the red zone. I mean, I feel like they didn't use Fulgham enough when we were down there. We would even with how bad our offense was, we would get down there some of the time, but we just wouldn't be able to capitalize. And even the run game too, having Jordan Howard back there to just kind of play bully ball down at that point. I mean, I think Boston Scott's a good goal line back too, despite his build. He doesn't look like a big goal line back, but he's not afraid to go seek contact and go make plays. So I think that we have a good run game, and we're going to have that deceptiveness of Jalen Hurts. He could run the ball down at the red zone too with read options and stuff like that. But also, you touched on, Ertz and Goddard being down there at that point in the field. Both those guys, big targets. You're going to see some 12 personnel, and that also opens up play action too, because you can fake the run, and then you can have RPOs or just play action with Goddard and Ertz kind of initially blocking at the line, but then peeling off onto a route, and then they're wide open. And that works a lot of time on rollouts and stuff like that in the red zone. I think you're definitely going to have some success down there, and I think Sirianni's going to get creative. And not to mention, you can also factor in a jet sweep or an end-around touch from Rager maybe, or Watkins here and there, or Devontae too. All those guys can go in motion. So I think the red zone is going to work like a well-oiled machine this year.
Yes, man. I think, like I said, I think we're going to be one of the top scoring offenses in the league this year, and that will translate to wins. You know what I'm saying? I'm still sticking to my guns. 12-5. 13-4 if it's a lot more exciting than I think it is, you know what I'm saying? Because I just think the unpredictability of our team, everybody, I even hear these national guys talk about, they're well, even if they are holding back, by the time, it gets to, the 4th or 5th game where teams have tape, then, that's when you're going to be basically your team, and I'm still sitting back thinking, but they talked about this already, you know what I'm saying? They're saying that, no, every single week, they're adjusting and they're changing. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? It's simple. You either passing or running on a play in football. It's not something complicated about that. But how you do it can be changed up every week. How you think the Patriots won all them Super Bowls? They never were the same team. You know what I'm saying? You didn't know what the Patriots. You just knew they were the Patriots coming to win the football game. You weren't the Patriots just high-flying passing team or just, ground and pound team. Some years they won a championship, they were ground and
Oh, I can't hear you, BIRDGANG. I got you now.
Hello? You got me?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, some years they're ground and pound, some years they're, passing the ball when they need to. It's you got to be able to be adaptive. And week 4 is not going to give you, Sirianni said he's got hundreds of plays for every situation. So by week 4, I doubt he's going to run through all these plays to the point where, he don't have, plays to go on and carry on the offense and be different.
Yeah.
The basic plays are there and they're going to work the staple plays, but there's definitely going to be a lot more newness coming. And on the defensive side of the ball, we're practicing 3-4 and 4-3. We ain't never did that before. You know what I'm saying? I know every team has their variances of sometimes they switch it up a little bit, but we have multiple defenses. Like when you use it playing Madden, you got multiple O and multiple D right now. And that's how we come into the season. Where I think, depending on the scheme, because not every team's the same. And if we're going to be changing up from team to team, then you won't be able to look at last week and be like, oh, they could do this to us. What happened if last week was a running team and you're a passing team? That means we're going to come with a whole new game plan this next week that you won't even be able to look at it. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be practicing last week's tape thinking that's coming, and you won't even see none of it in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, if these coaches are as serious as they say they are and going to do exactly what they say they are, man, we should not get figured out this whole season, to be honest. Like, we shouldn't, except for the teams that we play twice in our division.
Right. And I think I always like to bring up Sirianni's background because, again, we talk about the 3 different quarterbacks in Indianapolis. That's a different style of offense for each. They were multiple, and they also were multiple depending on the opponent they played. Then he spent time in San Diego. He spent time in Kansas City. Like, Doug Peterson, look, he brought us a Super Bowl. Love the dude. But he was only in Andy Reid's scheme. And we've also seen Matt Nagy get a little bland over time when he's been with the same offense for a couple of years. People have figured him out. Now, I think the playbook's going to open up a little bit more with Justin Fields. That's just my opinion on it. But look, I still think that, you look at that and you look at a couple of the guys that Andy Reid have come out of Andy Reid's system. Not all of them, but sometimes they do struggle a little bit at first, and sometimes they can get a little bit bland. And I'm not saying that's the majority, but just every once in a while, a guy who, not even just Andy Reid, maybe someone who just spends too much time under just one coach. Whereas Sirianni has a background where he's been with multiple different types of offenses. He's seen how they run in the NFL. So I think that works to his advantage. He understands that, you're going to have to switch things up. And you have your pass installs, like you said, that you implement. You have your run installs that you implement at the start of the season, your staple plays, as you called them, right? But you also have, ways to mix it up, ways to keep defenses off balance. And like you said, the defense, we're going to be showing some different looks, especially the 4-3 under, where it's still a 4-3, but your Sam linebacker, which I believe Sirianni said they're going to evaluate a little bit differently, is at the line kind of as a stand-up guy, playing down at the line of scrimmage. They're not going to be playing in the box with the other linebackers. So you just have some deceptiveness there with your fronts, with your looks. I mean, it sounds like Avery and Pat Johnson are going to be playing that same position, and Pat Johnson was a very versatile guy in college. I talk about him a lot. I mean, I believe he played the Joker role in college, which means I think when I saw his film, he played on the interior, he played at end, he played as a stand-up rusher, he played as a box linebacker, he played all over the place. I saw him, I always tell people this, sound like a broken record, but covered Kenny Gainwell one-on-one on the boundary and made a play on him on a screen pass. So the guy just done a lot. Avery's versatile too. I think he was versatile in his rookie season with Cleveland. So there's going to be guys on defense. I mean, if Stevens ends up playing at all, you talked about him before, BIRDGANG. He's versatile. I mean,
I can't wait to get back on the field.
Right. Milton Williams, we've seen him play a lot of edge this preseason. You have, trying to think of the other safeties. Kayvon was versatile at Clemson. Hasn't been used that way here, but I think he will be in Jonathan Gannon's system. So I think you have a lot of versatile pieces, and that goes along with being versatile as a defense as a whole. So I definitely think, like you said, while I have also talked about how teams are going to get more film on us, there's also going to be ways in which you can combat that. If you're a really good coach, you will adjust back to that in the second half, especially because I think we talk about Jim Schwartz. Not like if he's having a bad game, not too often did we see him make second half adjustments, right? No. I mean, even Doug sometimes. Doug, I would say the offense, there were times where they were like, all right, it's the fourth quarter, we have to do something, right? And they would panic and kind of get some points on the board, but there weren't a lot of second half adjustments when things weren't going well with those teams, or even fourth quarter adjustments sometimes. But, I think this coaching staff, I have hope that they can make those second half adjustments, and we'll see. There's going to be games where sometimes, it's the NFL. Sometimes you just get figured out. Sometimes you just don't have your best Sunday. And sometimes, I've said this a lot this offseason, we are a young team. There's going to be times where they need to learn things and just move on from it and, take that with a grain of salt and say, hey, I got to do that better next try. And there's going to be times where they don't always execute, right? But I think, like you said, like a good coaching staff will adjust even when there's some tendencies that are getting figured out. And we're going to have our staple plays, but we're also going to be able to mix it up a little bit.
And is it me, or did you not notice as well in some of these little clips that came out from these joint practices They're doing a lot better plays in these joint practices than they're doing inside the preseason games, man. Like some of these plays that we see in these electrifying catches, the Goddard's downfield, the
Right.
downfield, those are awesome plays that were happening in these joint practices that were not even being shown at all in none of these, preseason games, man. Like that's what I tell people. People got to realize this is about to be exciting, man. Like I'm so pumped up, man. Like I think there's going to be a lot of excitement, for this offense and a lot of things we didn't see, like you said, when the last time you really seen in the rounds on the Eagles, you know what I'm saying? Like we never really had the talent to do it, for one, and then for two, it's like we just haven't been seeing none of that type of stuff. Bubble screens, slot screens, tight end screens. I know last night they did run a lot more, screens than they normally did in preseason. We watched a couple more screens come out of there, and they worked. I don't even know who that number 17 guy is on our team. Who's number 17 on our team right now? Because that guy made 2 catches that off the screen play that was looking pretty nice.
I missed a little bit of the game last night. It's not Andre Patton. Keep going. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah,
because that's gonna bug me. It's not Alshon.
Yeah, like it was. That's what I'm like, who is number 17? He's taking these screenplays pretty good.
Yeah,
I like seeing that, man. Like, what I'm saying. But just the excitement to see better plays. Like I said, I told everybody, Doug won the Super Bowl too fast. I don't hate on him because he brought us our Super Bowl.
Oh, was it Mark and Michelle? Was that who it was?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Good old Mark and Michelle.
Mark and Michelle, man. Like,
love that guy.
Yeah, but like Doug won the Super Bowl way too fast, and he's got stale because he was too cocky. He was like, "These are my offense, my plays work. I'm gonna air the ball out, and that's what I'm gonna do." And you go try to stop me, like you said. You rarely seen him make adjustments at halftime. You know what I'm saying? He's like, "No, it's gonna work. We just gotta keep doing it. We gotta keep doing it until we execute it right." No, man. When the defense on the other team tells you at the end of a game that we knew what play you were doing. From that first time you heard that, you should have started changing up them plays, man. Like, what are you thinking about? What you doing? Like, come on now. A good coach is going to change. They're not going to be too high-headed. I think, like I said before, I don't think that, I would say that I'm happy that we won that Super Bowl. Yes. But I think if he would have won that Super Bowl in his 4th, 5th year, down the line, because even look at a guy like Andy Reid. Andy Reid had that at the beginning too, where he didn't want to switch it up, and then he started switching it up. He started letting another person call plays for him. He started understanding that his way is older, and you do need to mix it. This is a new league, baby. This is not just a passing league. This is just a new league now. You know what I'm saying? People want to see the high-flying, explosive plays out there, and they want to see some new plays they ain't seen. You know what I'm saying? They want to see that you're actually getting paid this money to make these new plays up for us to be excited about. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why you think the Philly special was so huge. You know what I'm saying? Because that was one play that used by like 4 teams, but one play used by 4 teams at different times of the season that took the defense off, whatever you want to say, by surprise. And you scored an easy touchdown on. And it can't just be one play like that. You got to have multiple plays like this in your offense. You know what I'm saying? You got to be willing to throw that out there and show everybody that you're willing to, bend the rules a little bit. Try some new formations. Try some new plays. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, hey, you tried it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm really excited.
Try some Mailata at fullback.
Yeah, that was my next question. Do you want to see, where'd it go? Should we use Mailata on the goal line? The rugby player, he's used to hitting people, and I watched his highlights rugby. He runs people over. He's a good running back. You know what I'm saying? Like he could be a running back the way as big as he is. But then if we still have Diller, you can let Diller get some PT if you let him move to that, But that would be amazing, wouldn't it? Like imagine that. You got a fullback in front of him. Hell, like someone said, put Fletcher Cox at fullback. You know what I'm saying? Then run right behind Brandon Brooks. I don't care what defensive lineman in the world is going to have Brandon Brooks, Jason Kelsey pushing them with Fletcher Cox coming through with Mailata as the running back behind it. I promise you touchdown every time. You have to prove me wrong for that. That's what I want to see this year. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, I mean, you said it. You can put Dillard at left tackle. And also, even if Dillard gets traded, you can put LaRaven Clark at left tackle for a snap or two. Like he's a solid guy. He can go in on a goal line snapping without getting blown up. I believe he had the highest preseason block, one of the highest preseason blocking grades among, I forget if it was pass blocking or run blocking, among Eagles offensive linemen this preseason. So, look, you can put guys in there at left tackle and give Mailata an opportunity to go in there and play some fullback. Maybe give him a carry out of the backfield too. Like,
man.
Remember
the refrigerator Perry? The Bears used him a lot.
Exactly.
And you
remember Dontari Poe when Dontari Poe on the Chiefs threw he had that jump pass touchdown.
Another one.
Right. Like you can give Mailata, like if you do that goal line package with Mailata, you can hand it off to him and have him do a little jump pass too. Or maybe he lines up on the line as an eligible receiver and then he goes out for the jump pass the next time. Something, you can always get creative with this. Like you got to be willing to put Mailata in there because I don't know if this is true, but I heard someone say that he lost weight last year, but was at 400 pounds at one point when he was competing for a job. I don't know if that's true or not. 400? That's the third amount. But look, either way, I mean, the dude is massive. He is a massive guy.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like
he's at least 350.
You can see him. Like he's a big dude. And to run that fast and be that athletic, man, that would be crazy.
Right.
Crazy.
He's got the rugby experience. I remember when he got drafted, I said, look, even if he doesn't work out as an offensive lineman, you could always put this guy in a goal line package, right? Like if he's going to be on the roster, this was back when we had Peters and Peters was still good. I was like, if he's going to make the 53 man, you could use him on the goal line or something like that, right? Like you can always find ways to be creative. So, hey, I'm all for it if they want to put him in there at some point. I would love to see it. I think we got a lot of big dudes on the roster who are very athletic. So I would love to see Mailata get put in there for a goal line snap.
And yeah, Richie, and Dickerson too. That's probably my last question for you tonight. Where are you at with the Landon Dickerson? Do you think we need to redshirt him the whole year, or do you think he's capable of? Because I think he's a transcending player. Like once he gets on the field, he's not leaving the field, and I think the coaches know that too, and that's the reason why they're holding him back so much because they know as soon as you give him an inch, he's gonna take a mile, and you won't be able to pull him back off that field after he goes on there. He'll hide every injury till the end of time as long as he's out there to be able to play. So I like what they're doing, but like I said, it has been some time. He's looking a lot healthier out there. He not have to really train him, but just his physique and him walking around and stuff like that. I want Landon Dickerson because I think he's good enough that, no disrespect to Sayamalu, but he is good enough to start over Sayamalu if he's healthy. You know what I'm saying? And then that would make him even more dominating. Landon's like 6'8", 350, another athletic beast out there. To have him line up next to Jordan Mailata, then you have both the right and the left side fully protected, fully strong. I'm talking about Emmitt Smith, 90s holes for Miles Sanders, my guy.
Yeah, I mean, talking about Landon Dickerson, man. Look, this dude, if he had been healthy in his college career, I have no doubt in my mind that he's a top 20 caliber pick. I have no doubt. And even people point to the injuries a lot. Something that always gives me hope is that he did start 26 straight games at one point during his time in Alabama. He got hurt a lot at Florida State, but there was a span at Alabama where he had started a lot of games in a row.
Yes.
And look, this is a guy who knows the technique inside and out, like in his mind. Like he just knows it all. He knows the hand placement. He knows how to get up to the second level and get his hands into the chest of defensive linemen and linebackers and just throw them across the field. Like he knows how to pancake dudes. He knows how to pass protect. He knows how to keep his eye on everything. And even like he played a little, he can play center. He knows how to call out the mic and the will and pass protection and all that for run when they're doing zone plays and stuff like that. Obviously important. He knows all that. He knows the signals and everything. You give him a year to learn the signals and all that. And look, like you said, Sayamalu, I think, is the fact that he's our weakest link on the line, I think, is a testament to our offensive line. I think Sayamalu is still a very, very good offensive lineman, but I think that it's possible that you could see him overtake that left guard spot, like you said. And if he does, it's also you're allowing him to play left guard. He's playing next to Kelsey and learning alongside him the entire year and learning
to hear it right there. Instead of just like on the sidelines hearing Kelsey like watching him do it, he'll be right next to Kelsey. He's like, "Hey, why'd you make that check? Why'd you make this check?" You know what I'm saying? They're going to be working together, double blocking on people. You know what I'm saying? That helped Kelsey out a whole lot, too, because we want Kelsey to stay healthy this whole year. So I think that'll be a beneficial for Kelsey and for him. Like you said, they'll be able to talk to each other on there, and he have that experience right then and there. Like I said, around week 7, I wouldn't be surprised. Look for that guy to come in, man, because that guy's a road grader. And I watched him here in Alabama play. and that boy's a beast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was sad that he got hurt before the national championship, but even his heart, the toughness, he wanted to go out there. He went out there for a play, I think they had for him, you know what I'm saying, just to get him out there because that's one of them guys that bleed and sweat football. He's just a football player, straight up, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The boy's coming the ball, and I'm so happy that we got him. Like, I did want, a cornerback at this time. You know what I'm saying? But I think our cornerback situation has gotten fixed since then. And I'm very happy that we have Landon. I cannot wait to see him get on the field.
Right. And I think talking about the cornerbacks too, you're always continually building, right? Like this year, while I think we're going to have a good year, like it is step one in the process too. So you can always go out next year. And if Derek Stingley bounces back after a little bit of a rough season last year at LSU, like you can always go get him next year. There's going to be guys available in next year's draft. If we have 3 first-round picks, you could use one of those on a corner, right? You could use second or third on a corner. Like there's always good corners in second and third round. There was a couple guys who I definitely like also at the second and third round pick, there were some corners who I really, really wanted, especially the third pick. I was eyeing up Benjamin St-Juste and Ifeatu Melifonwu, who I really think are going to be good players. Unfortunately, St-Juste went to Washington, so now I hope he's not a good player.
Yeah,
but,
garbage.
Garbage. Yeah, exactly. But I do think that Dickerson, I mean, the more I looked into it, the more I thought like this guy's a perfect pick right here. Like heir to Jason Kelsey in the future. And like we both talked about, if he plays at left guard at any point, that could be so beneficial for him. So I think Dickerson he's so strong too. I mean, defensive lineman, like no one wants to get in his way. And I think his skill level just so easily translates.
And he's a nasty
I'm so
boy,
excited.
Nasty on you. That's
he's got that mentality.
I want my offensive line nasty out there just road grinding. What? Get up. Yeah. I got
right.
You ain't blocking nobody. I mean, you ain't coming in.
Exactly.
Not this way, my guy.
Absolutely.
But hey, man, Hunter, thanks again. Do you have any questions or anything you want to wrap up with? Have we covered it all? Do you have anything final, thoughts? How do you think? We got 2 weeks left, Hunter, till week 1 in Atlanta. Give me your final thoughts on this show for right now. How you feeling about them Birds going into the game?
Look, I'm feeling good. Hey, I mean, the guy Aaron Sipas, a punter, he's been balling out this preseason too. I'm feeling good about him right now. He's going to get us a good field position. But look, I'm excited. This new coaching staff, this young team. And like I think Richie mentioned it, it's going to be new head coach for Atlanta with Arthur Smith, who I'm a big fan of, and Sirianni and this staff with Jonathan Gannon and all that. Like, there's talent on both sides. I mean, Atlanta's got talent too. I'm super excited for that game because I think both teams it's going to be a test for. And look, I'm excited to see Slay go up against Ridley. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. It's going to be weird not seeing Julio Jones because it feels like Eagles-Falcons, like, always.
I am happy Julio's gone. Man.
Yeah.
Julio was the Eagle killer back in the day. Man.
Exactly.
That guy, remember when he had like 200 yards on it that one game? I was like, man, I hate Julio, man. Like, you know, he's a beast that you can't really do too much with, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, right. And like I was saying, like, that Eagles-Falcons matchup for a few years there was kind of a rivalry, I would say. I mean, we played them in 2016 in Carson's rookie year, and we beat them. Then we play them in the playoffs in 2017. And then the next year we play them opening night. And it's almost the same exact ending as the playoff game with Julio getting tackled out of bounds. Or, almost it was overthrown that time. But a goal line play where Julio, they threw the ball to him. And then last year, the week after that, week 2, where Aguilar dropped the ball in the lights in that game, that was crazy. And now we're playing them again. Like, I view it as, especially their fan base, I hate their fans. Like, I hate Atlanta fans, especially after Trae Young beat us and beat the Sixers this year. Atlanta definitely, there's some tension there. So I'm just really excited. I think both teams, it's kind of a new era we're entering into for both teams. And I think it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top, what both teams look like week 1, because there's a lot of unknowns with both sides. But look, their defense sucks. We're getting that dub. I'm excited for it. And I can't wait for the season, man. I'm already getting
score prediction, Hunter.
Score prediction. A million.
Give me some offensive stats. Score prediction and offensive stats, my guy.
I got you. 1,000,000-0. Just kidding.
Yeah.
I'll go. I'll go. I think it's gonna be a close game. I really do. I'm gonna go. I think we win 31-27. Birds.
31. Lucky number, baby.
Jalen Hurts scores a rushing touchdown in the final minute to seal the deal. And I think Jalen Hurts, I think he's going to throw the ball around. I think the nice thing is, I think with Sirianni, he's not going to be throwing the ball 40 times a game.
No.
So I think he's going to throw the ball. I think I'll say he goes 20 for 27. He's going to be safe with it. He's going to protect the football. We'll give him 250 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'll give him that rushing touchdown too to win the game. And I'll say he carries the ball 7 times for, let's say, 41 yards. Good ratio there. I'll say Miles Sanders gets the ball around 15 times and he puts up, we'll say, 81 yards for, I think I already have Jalen Hurts at 3 touchdowns, I believe. So I'll give Miles the 4th. We'll say Quez gets a tutty in the first game. I'm saying Quez gets 1. I'm gonna say I'll say Devontae gets 1. He's going back to that sugar or whatever, I forget what that is, Mercedes-Benz number, whatever it is, in Atlanta. He's played there before in the SEC. He's going to be comfortable getting a touchdown, and I think Rager's going to contribute as well. So I think Goddard's going to be key in the game, and I think our defense is going to have a last-minute stand to just hold it down. So I'm excited, man.
I like that breakdown, my guy. I like that breakdown. For me, you know me, I go crazy with it. We are going to win 31-7. You know what I'm saying? Our defense will shut them out. You know what I'm saying? You're going to see blitzing. You're going to see Fletcher Cox getting sacked. You're going to see Mr. Sweats getting sacked. You're going to see Hargrave getting sacked. Milton Williams going to get a strip fumble. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing big play Slay with a pick in his first game, you know, of the season, you know. So I even see my boy Harrison in the back end getting an interception. So we're making 5 turnovers on defense, 7-0, 31-0 the score is going to be. Yeah, my boy Jalen Hurts is throwing for 300 yards and rushing for 100. You know what I'm saying? Touchdowns going to get spread out whatever way they need to get spread out, and points will be scored, baby. But that's what I got. That's my week 1 prediction. We're going 1-0 till the next week against the 49ers, and that's how I want to roll with that one, my guy.
Let's go. Love it. I love that.
All right. Well, hey, give everybody some information where they can find you at, my guy. Please go sub my guy up. Hunter, we are both in the 500 range. We trying to get to 1,000. We need to be monetized. Hook us up. You know what I'm saying? So we work hard. We're going to keep grinding for you guys all season long. So you go ahead and tell them where to find you at, Big Hunter.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, BIRDGANG. So you guys can find me at InsideEagles.com. I did do my all-time Eagles list. This is my second time on BIRDGANG's channel. So appreciate you asking that, Richie. So InsideEagles.com, I do my writing there. And obviously, I'm on Philly Insider Podcast doing all my videos. Did the Minshew video as everyone else did today, but also did a film breakdown recently and got a couple more coming out on the preseason games. So appreciate all the support. But yeah, you guys can find me there. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, BIRDGANG, for having me on. This is the 3rd time I've collabed with you over the past couple weeks/months. So I appreciate you, man, and I always have a good time talking birds. You always are hype on the team, and you always get me like. I came into this stream like obviously. I think the more we went on in the stream, I think the more I started to kind of buy into the Eagles as it's happened.
Yeah, that's my job, baby.
The more I've collabed with you.
All the Eagle fans, get aboard, baby. Hit that train. Yeah. Woo. So we are coming, man. This great train's going to steamroll some teams this year. And everybody's like, I did not know the Eagles were that good. I didn't know. Well, guess what? BIRDGANG telling you right now. So don't even think about it, because we coming to steamroll you this year. And the young guns are going to be hot, and they going to be on fire. Shooting them all down, my guy. But hey,
yes, sir.
Much love to all you guys still in the chat. Like I said, hit that like on the way out. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do. Go hit my boy Hunter up, subscribe to his channel. And you know what I'm saying? We're going to be here all year long. So let's fly, Eagles, fly. And until next time, this was BIRDGANG Nation Sports Talk. I'm your host, BIRDGANG31, and we are out. Peace.
He chose not to have the surgery. He chose to rest and relax and hope it goes away. And then he ended.
We took a look at Gilmore, and if we got Gilmore, we win in the division. I feel like, you know what I mean? I feel like Stephon Gilmore.
Richard Rodgers. He was with our team over the last couple of years. But this is about our 4th time picking him up. What does that mean?